Hello everyone, welcome to the Road to Formula 1. In this brand new iRacing series, I want to become a competitive Formula driver and eventually drive the F1 car in iRacing like a champ. This season we're starting off good in the Renault Formula 3.5, which is a very fast and capable car. This race, it was a pretty good one if I do say so myself, with one little teeny tiny oopsie doopsie somewhere squeezed there in the middle. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss a single race. And before we begin, a special thanks to my big and beautiful boys, Jorik, Arthur Cabral, Alex Fleming and JP Kelly. Now let's get into the race.
26 Celsius. Alright, Q, stay calm.
Alright, here we are at the Hungaroring.
Go, nail it.
Ooh, that's a very bad start. I don't know what happened there, but it wasn't good.
Right.
Alright, we just gotta not spin out this first lap and not get hit by these crazy folks. Anyone beside me? No. Alright, we gotta warm up the tires in these cars because these cars, they're very agile, but also on cold tires they're very springy. I don't know if that's a good word for it.
Car right, clear right, car right. Clear right.
But you really got to be careful in them. And I don't want to spin out anywhere. So I'm used to driving touring cars, GT cars. And this is just something else entirely, especially when you're talking. Gee dang it. When I'm practicing, everything is fine. I can fully concentrate the mind on what's ahead. But now things get a little more difficult.
Right side.
But I've been enjoying
Right side's clear.
these cars tremendously. You could almost say that I'm addicted to driving these because it's such a thrill to just sit between the tires like this and go this fast. But because these cars are very, very light, they're about 500 kilograms and they have
E4.
at top range, RPM range, like 500 horsepowers. You really gotta be a surgeon with the pedals. And if you've been watching this channel for more than a minute, you know of course that I am one of the cavemen that your mother is so afraid of. No, that's not true. Your mother and I have a beautiful relationship. But I am a caveman in cars, and it took me some effort to get used to these throttle inputs. You can see them above the leaderboard on the right hand side of the screen. You can see what I do with my pedals and my steering wheel, of course. But it's just been such a different experience than I'm used to. Normally I just put my foot down, let the traction control handle it, and I feel like these cars, they have very little in the way of assists, and you really got to do it yourself.
Sorry if I bumped you, mate.
Ooh,
On my screen, I did.
like that. No ABS as well.
Property net code.
And if I quit talking a little bit, I can focus on the guy up ahead, and we might get him.
Just done at 134.5. Car in front has just posted at 133.
Oh, 134.7. That's an average lap for me around here. But yeah, I've been enjoying these cars a lot. So that's why I wanted to start this series as well, because I'm very curious where it brings me and how the racing will evolve over the season.
E4.
Besides that, 2 days ago I was watching Arrival. You know, I gotta talk about the movies I watch. I heard a lot of good about Arrival. I saw it was from the director Denis Villeneuve, which also directed one of my favorite movies, Sicario. A very, very tense cinematic movie. And you could say the same for Arrival, but I didn't really vibe with Arrival, to be honest. Oh. Oh yes, baby. I need to go harder in this car. Let's go. But yeah, I didn't really vibe with Arrival. I don't know what it was in the beginning. It really had me intrigued by the mystery of it. Why are these aliens here? What do they want? How do we communicate with them? But there was a pivotal moment in the movie where they kind of lost me. I really sat there watching it and thought, why are they doing this? This is just a shame of what you've been building up. And of course at the end I get the movie. I'm not gonna spoil it here, but a very minor spoiler for not even plot related, but they're figuring out why these aliens are here and how to communicate with them. That's kind of the whole point of the movie. And instead of
thank you very much, Dave.
Instead of going deep into it, they just put in a montage, and I thought, well, I do love me some Rocky, I do love me some Rambo. Well, in Rambo there's not really montages, I think. Maybe Rambo 3. Ooh. But they put in a montage of how they communicate with the aliens after a while, and maybe there's a director's cut that I missed where they go deeper into it, but that was the whole point of the movie for me. And then just to skip over it in a few minutes with a montage, I thought it was just a silly waste of material that they got there. I feel like we're also getting closer to my boy over here. But besides that, it's a great movie, very original take. Very original take on aliens come to Earth, of course, and it's a beautiful movie. It looks phenomenal, as you're used to from Denis Villeneuve, who also directed Sicario, the new Dune, which I don't really care for. Maybe I'm dumb. I hear all these praises for Dune, but it didn't feel good to watch for me either. It was too long, yeah, it didn't pick up the pace for me. And maybe I need to watch it again now that I've seen the whole thing, and maybe I vibe with it some more. But I was watching Dune in the theaters a few months ago, I think. And I couldn't really get into it. I kind of got frustrated that it was so long and it didn't go anywhere. At least it felt that it wasn't going anywhere. But yeah. Please rant in the comments about how wrong I am about Dune. That would be good. Ooh, that guy is not having a good time. Let's try to avoid that. But besides having watched Arrival, which I do give 4 out of 5 stars because it was just phenomenal to watch. It was such an original take. There's just a montage thing really didn't work for me. And Amy Adams is also a great actress. I loved her in Vice. If you haven't watched Vice, it's a movie about Dick Cheney. If you've seen The Big Short, it really reminded me of The Big Short. I think it's by the same creators. It's like this political drama, comedy, dramedy, and it's just very informative and funny. But yeah, besides having watched Arrival, I have also been playing one of my favorite games with a friend of mine. Yeah, he has never played. He had never played the Metal Gear series, and of course I love that series. So this is the 4th time I play through it with a different friend, so that's good. So he can experience everything Metal Gear has to offer. This is not good. We really messed that up. But yeah, he can experience everything Metal Gear has to offer, and we, like a week ago, we finished Metal Gear Solid 1, and yesterday we started the tanker mission of Metal Gear Solid 2, which is such a great level.
The gap in front is now 2.7.
And we really had some good old fun with the cardboard box that actually works in Metal Gear Solid 2, which is great. I think to comment on the race as well. I really want to reel that guy in, the James Seymour. I want to see more of him, but we got to get somewhat closer to fix that. Ooh. But I think we're going steady here, and that's the name of this game. Going steady in these cars and just keeping the pace as high as possible without constantly putting yourself in danger of spinning out and making mistakes. Because you easily spin these cars out, and if you hit too much curbage, you also make it spin or twirl or dance, or... That's why I'm kind of afraid of those curbs there. And I know that I've done quicker laps in practice and qualifying, but I really do not want to risk it. At what lap are we? 7 of 25. Yesterday I did this race and it was going very well. I think I was in kind of the same place we're at now, in 3rd place. And I spun it right in that corner that we just passed, and my car was just totaled. These are really fragile pocket rockets.
Thank you.
This curb has fricked me over multiple times as well. You really gotta watch that lock-in of the wheels. Oh. Oh, is this guy gonna give up his position for me? I hope he is.
Increased to 3.2 seconds.
Oh, he's a trooper. I was watching too much of him being a trooper. So I forgot to shift up. Oh, that's a dangerous curb to hit. Oh, it really felt like I was just gone. I was a goner there, but I'm happy to report that I wasn't. One off track. Okay, we can handle that. .4 seconds off the next guy. Come on. We can do this good. But to get back to the point of Metal Gear. So last week I finished Metal Gear Solid 1 with a good friend of mine. And I'm gonna come clean to you guys. Please don't tell this to my mother. She'll be horrified, but it was actually the first time I had finished Metal Gear Solid 1. I had played through like the half of it a few years back, but it's so clunky. So I always resorted to watching the visual novel to just get the story bits into my brain. Thank you. But to have played it completely, I feel like a veteran of the Metal Gear series now. I've played them all. The one I played the least, which I also watched the visual novel for, is Peace Walker, which I'm also gonna play with my friend here. But I want to talk a little bit about Metal Gear Solid 1, because it's such a great experience. Those graphics where you cannot even see Snake's face. the start of everything. It's just beautiful. Knowing what Ocelot is gonna say after the credits have rolled. And seeing my friend think that Ocelot's arm is off for real. And then, oh man, those boss fights. When I was playing Metal Gear Solid 4 for the first time, I hadn't played Metal Gear Solid 1. I just seen the visual novel, and at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4, without any spoilers, there's a boss fight in which you need to do some hand-to-hand combat, which is a throwback back to a boss fight, the last boss fight of Metal Gear Solid 1, where you also do hand-to-hand combat. Uh-oh. Come on. And when I was doing the Metal Gear Solid 4 boss fight a few years back... Ooh. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Let me pass, please.
Car left. Clear left.
Thanks. Oh, I'm completely off my schedule now. Whew. It's so dangerous. You cannot hit each other in these cars. You're just totaled immediately. But when I was playing the last boss fight of Metal Gear Solid 4 a few years back, it took me I think about an hour to beat it, which is pretty long. And it's practically the same boss fight you have at the end of Metal Gear Solid 1, hand to hand against the big bad guy, of course. And this time I'm happy to report that it only took us 1 hour and 45 minutes. While there's even a 3-minute timer on that fight. So you can count on your little fingies how many times we've retried it. Ooh. So that was good. That was very, very good. Alright, this chicane is always a little bit tough. And these, the Hungaroring, I really like it, but for these cars, it feels like a gymnastic exercise. Seeing how agile you are with these cars. I really like it because you really have to have some good braking and entering. Braking and gassing techniques, throttling techniques. And the more I've been practicing at this track, the better I've been getting, and that's such a good feeling that I haven't had in a long time in sim racing. I've been playing a lot of Assetto Corsa Competizione in the past, and after a while you kind of hit a ceiling. And now that I've picked out these new cars, you first learn how to drive them, and then you learn how to keep them on track. And when you're confident keeping them on track, you learn their limits a little bit, and you learn how to drive them faster and faster. And that's really the fun part about it, about learning something completely new. Because let's take for instance the TCR cars that are also new in iRacing. I've had tremendous fun in them as well, because you can just floor the gas pedal in almost every corner and have a lot of fun with it. And in a different way, they're difficult to drive, because the difficulty in those cars is not to keep them on the track, but more to get them fast around the track. No! Oh, please don't hit the wall. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so glad we didn't die there. Oh my lord. As you can tell by my very real no, I was so scared it was gonna go completely off the rails again. And I always have like this. Oh, I gotta get back into it. My headspace is just completely blown.
P5.
And we only lost 2 places, so I'm glad about that. But I'm always immediately more careful on the throttle when something like that happens, and I'm completely out of it. I'm completely out of the flow of things, and that's something I need to train better, to forget, not forget, to get into a neutral state again, because I think I'm now overcautious, and that can also cost me a lot of time. Deep breathing and just frowning will help. I bet that will help. Come on, guys. Can I get an auga to get me back on track? Come on, let's go. Put an auga in the chat, guys. That will help me a lot. Alright, this time we're not gonna fail in this corner. I promise. Either we do it again, or we're gonna wreck the whole car, you know. Okay, we're 5 seconds behind Austin Smith. 5.1. I'm being overcautious. Let's go, boys. Come on.
Okay,
We can get him back. We can get him back. No, what the hell? 5 times off track. That's not good. Did I damage my front wing, maybe? It
Thank
feels...
you.
Maybe it's me. I don't dare. I hate this. How come I'm scared all of a sudden?
It's now 6.4 seconds.
Let's go, boys. Let's go. We can do this. Just hit the braking points you normally hit. Don't be overcautious. Otherwise you're gonna fall behind and get lapped by everybody in the session.
Marty is getting closer. The gap's now 6.5 seconds.
Hell no, I'm not gonna let this happen. Come on, little boy. You can handle this. You can handle a lot more than this. I don't know if I'm the only one who talks to themselves like this in a race. Alright, here we go, here we go. 6.9 seconds between me and anyone else. Now let's go. Oh, really gotta watch out with that curb. I've spun it so many times because of that curb. No wheels, come on, you can just go on. This is just getting really intense because you cannot really hit anything with this car, and it just breaks. And I've lost my mojo. I was really in the zone for most of this race, I feel like. And now I'm thinking too much. I'm thinking too much. That's the thing we need to avoid. That's why I need to talk about something else. So I go back on autopilot, which I've trained for. Who is that? Jason James. Oh, he's gone in the pits. He's having a bad time, I think. So, completely something else, of course.
Last lap was at 134.5.
But a funny little video I saw was an interview of Jason Alexander. I saw this on Reddit, of course, but a little interview with Jason Alexander about Seinfeld. He's the one who plays George, and he's telling a story about how the scripts were always very strange in Seinfeld. And it just had me cracking up because I've been watching a lot of Seinfeld, and what he told the interviewer about the scripts, it was so accurate about how I see every Seinfeld or most Seinfeld episodes. Because he was telling about how Larry David gave him and Julia Louis-Dreyfus these scripts that their characters, they got in heated arguments, but at the end of the episode it would not get resolved, and he would ask, "What, Larry? Why don't these conflicts get resolved? This character, he's back on TV next week, and there won't be any continuity in the characters. One week he does one thing, the next he does the complete polar opposite. What the hell is that about?" And Larry David, one of the writers of Seinfeld, he told him, "No, we're not going to do any continuity because it's not funny." And I was so... it never really dawned on me that things just don't get resolved in Seinfeld episodes, because it's way funnier when they don't. And when you watch Seinfeld after knowing something like that, I immediately went to look at what was happening in the episodes, of course, and you see indeed that it's almost like a perfectly cut Screams compilation. Like today I was watching an episode where George is eating shrimp in a business meeting, and one of the guys says, "Hey George, the ocean called. They want their shrimp back. They're running out of shrimp." That's what he said. And he wants to have a comeback, but later on when he's driving home, he formulates a comeback way too late, of course. But
Smith, 132.3.
so he comes up with the comeback. The jerk store called. They're running out of you. And he of course wants another meeting with that guy so he can say the comeback. But then he finds out this guy who worked for the New York Yankees has now quit his job and works in Ohio for Firestone, the tire company. So George flies over to Firestone headquarters to discuss a snow tire day at the Yankee Stadium, and they all think it's a weird idea, but he's chomping away on the shrimp again, so he hopes the other guy says, "Hey George, the ocean called, they're running out of shrimp." And of course the other guy says it again, but now George, he has a comeback, and so he says, "The jerk store called, they're running out of you." But then the guy, he comes up with another comeback, and he says, "That doesn't matter because you're the top selling article." And George is just flabbergasted that he cannot come up with another comeback, of course. So he's driving home angry again. He's back in New York, and he's driving in the car, talking to himself, and he comes up with another comeback. And he turns around the car to drive back to the airport and fly over to Ohio again. And that's where the episode just cuts.
Now 13 seconds.
And that's such a great showcase of how those scripts are written. And I think it's just brilliant comedy to not resolve anything. It's just funnier for the characters that they always get into hijinks, and by not resolving any of the conflicts, you just keep that they remain characters, I guess. They just do things, and it is a show about nothing, so why they don't need to resolve anything. There doesn't need to be any continuity. Just make it as strange and hilarious as possible, and it fulfills its purpose. And one thing I do love so much about Seinfeld is that every episode is its own thing. You can watch any episode without having watched another one, I think. But from the start, they establish some in-jokes, and they establish more jokes and more jokes. And the more you've seen of Seinfeld and the better you know, like, the universe, the funnier it becomes. Like, the jokes on themselves are very... Well, the episodes, completely isolated, they're very funny, but... Oh no, oh, that could have been death. But every episode is its own little ecosystem, and it's funny in that ecosystem. And it doesn't need the support of any other episode to remain funny and very, very watchable. Oh, this is a good guy. But once you watch more of Seinfeld, once you watch it from the beginning, and you have a good enough memory to remember all the things they're talking about, there's some hilarious in-jokes and references to things that have happened before. And I think that's just a great way to do a show like that. And why I love it so much is it's so completely, how do you say that, dislodged from reality? Like,
Thank you.
well, it's not dislodged from reality. Like, most of the things that happen in Seinfeld, normal people wouldn't do that, but a lot of what the characters do in Seinfeld is something you maybe want to do yourself. You maybe thought about doing yourself. Like George with the comebacks. Once you get a comeback like that, everybody has probably thought about going back to the exact scenario in which they said something mean to you, and you can say that perfect comeback that you think about days later. And in Seinfeld, they really make those fantasies into an episode, and I think that's great. But I constantly interrupt myself in the point I'm trying to make. What I like so much about Seinfeld is that it distracts you from the reality of what's going on in the world, in your life. If you're having a bad day, you can just come home to a little bit of Seinfeld, laugh your tiny teeny butt off, and just have a pleasant time with George, Kramer, Elaine, and Jerry. And it's almost always a very, very, very good time. It's my home away from home. Let's just say that. So yeah, let's maybe get back into this race. I've been talking a lot. I've been watching a lot of things. I've been playing a lot of things, of course, and so I got to keep you guys in the loop of what my life is currently doing. But we're 5.6 seconds off the next guy. 5.8 says my spotter, but I don't believe him. And we're now gonna focus real intense on all the corners. Let's see if it makes a difference. I don't think so, because I've been hitting the apex is pretty good, I think. All right. Ooh. Oh, that could have gone so wrong. I think it's a problem with me that I've almost trained myself to be talking while I'm driving. Sometimes I do good when I'm really focusing. But when I'm too focused on focusing, I think too much about how I'm driving, about my inputs, and it doesn't come natural anymore. And that's a little bit of a problem, because in my experience I practice, and then the muscle memory kicks in, and it kind of drives my car for me, if that makes sense. I know how what a good corner feels like. I know what a good throttle input feels like, and if I think about it too much, I frick it up by thinking about it, of course. So I think that's why talking about all this stuff helps me get out of my head and gets my body into the car, as it were. Very philosophical, very, very French sciencey. So don't listen to my hocus pocus words of pseudo-science, because maybe none of it makes sense to you. Oh, that didn't look good. I saw some smoke popping off. Alright, here we go. And what are we doing here? 133 still? Yes. We're still under the 134. When I started in this car, I think I was doing 136s. So I'm doing pretty alright, I think. Two blue flagged fellas.
Car right. Right side's clear.
Keep it on the outside here. I hope this guy doesn't ruin my race, but he's been on the track for a little longer than a minute, so hopefully he gets the memo. James Seymour has passed him safely as well, so... Oh, that's not a good spot to slow down. That could have been terrible. I wanted to nail that corner very, very hard. But yeah, we're coming up to the last lap. I think this was a decent race. If I hadn't spun, I think we might have had top 3. One last lap, everything can still go wrong. Heck yeah. Let me watch the screen and not the camera. Otherwise things will go wrong.
34.6.
Alright, let's make this the magnum opus of laps here. Come on, guys. Give me one more Ooga! For the Ooga Booga Brain gang. Alright. A very, very... Oh. overshot it a little bit. A very, very decent race, if I do say so myself. But I've been practicing a ton in this car at this track, and I'm glad it's paying off. All right, there we almost are. We can still spin, of course, but yeah, that's it. 5th place, not bad at all, not bad at all.
P5, okay, it's over.
This spotter guy, he's never happy with the results. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you also enjoy some open wheel action. Please let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe for more, and thank you to all my beautiful baby boys and girls. I love you all so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And I hope to see you in the next video as well. I love you guys.